I'm Rob Wheely, and I'm the CEO of Alloy Wheel Repair Specialists. We're the world's largest provider of wheel refinishing, remanufacturing, and wheel replacement. My dad was a car enthusiast, always working on cars of his own and new projects. That passed down to me, and it still grows with me today. Wheels have become the jewelry of the car. People want their wheels to look nice. We provide basic refinishing of wheels. We have remanufacturing facilities that provide extensive repair. We also have put all of our processes through an independent facility that's accredited. You can find those certifications on our website. We do it all. You bring your wheel to us and we'll figure it out. We strive for not just customer service experience, but customer excellence. We want to wow them so they come back each and every time. All of our technicians are trained and certified. We even have a master training course. It's important to love what you do. It's important to make employees feel a part of the team, and they're seeing the same rewards as you do. That's what helps us accomplish our goal. Everybody's our customer. The retail public, dealerships, body shops, insurance companies, warranty companies. We have a claims department. We're the ones that they call to come in and repair it. So if you find yourself in need of wheel refinishing, wheel repair, wheel replacement, or if you just want to custom color your wheels, give us a call. We'll help you find the right location, or you can go to our website. There's a locator on there to find the location closest to you.
Hello everybody, welcome into the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series presented by the Alloy Wheel Repair Specialist. Tonight we are at Gateway, otherwise known as World Wide Technology Raceway, getting for a good old-fashioned hot slick track style race. And on that, let's get down trackside, get started with some of your pre-race ceremonies. Let's get started with your race info here tonight. As we noted, we are at Gateway. Very interesting track here in St. Louis. Going to be the Gateway 150 tonight here in the FastTrack Cup Series. 120 laps around this place. 100% fuel. 3 sets of tires for everybody. No fast repairs. Open setups. 3 green, white checkers. Weather outside 90 degrees. 37% humidity. Partly cloudy skies and winds at 9 miles an hour. But the thing to keep your eye on is this track temp. Track length just over a mile at 1.2. Temperature, though, starting out at 130 degrees Fahrenheit. This track is going to be very, very hot and slick. Definitely going to be a challenge for all these guys starting out. Getting into your starting grid, how about Tyler Marble gets himself on the pole here for Team Marble iRacing. Starting in second to his outside, it's going to be Austin Fitzgerald. Jeff Marble, Tyler Marble's teammate, starts just behind him in third. Joshua Watson, the most wins on the season. He starts to the outside of Jeff Marble in fourth. Andrew Kotska, fifth. Cody Richardson from Mad Sim Racing in sixth. Adrian Watts, the rookie, in seventh. Andrew Nieder in eighth. Scott Glass on ninth. And it's going to be Brian Conklin rounding out the top 10. Great qualifying ground for him here tonight. Alan Pajari and Brian Watson making up row 6. Brian Curry and Danny Gutierrez making up row 7. Jared Bundy 15th. Thomas O'Hara 16th. Sean Kaltenbach 17th with Ryan Shiro 18th. Jeff Shutt 19th. And Cody Matthews rounding out your top 20. Bill Benedict 21st. Johnny McCulchuk 22nd. Jerry Isaacs 24th. Glenn Grigsby 25th. Todd Shiro 26th. 27th is going to be Richard Elliott. 28th, Ryan Haynes 29th. Jacob Musso 30th. It's going to be Jeff Barnes 31st. Matthew Cox 32nd. Matthew Gearinger 33rd. Cody Colley, and rounding out the field tonight is going to be Jeffrey Souza. Getting down live, here we go. Green flag is in the air, and we are racing at Gateway. Looks like Austin Fitzgerald's going to try to get a run on the outside down into turn 1. Didn't look like it was going to work initially, but he's trying to make it stick. He gets that kind of diamond-like arc off of turn 2, and he's going to have a big run. And in fact, he gets clear of Tyler Marble, and he might have himself a shot at leading lap 1 here. The good thing I like about it, I know we seem kind of late. We were a little bit late tonight on the pre-race ceremonies, but it gives us a chance to save a lot of the storylines for throughout the race. And, you know, I know we talked about the track temp, but the biggest storyline here tonight is courtesy of Johnny McCulchuk. Of course, we have the estimates on what we think these guys can do in terms of pit stops and fuel mileage. And it's looking like everybody can get 70 laps on fuel. And knowing that, you would think to yourself, well, everybody should be able to make it on one stop. The problem is going to be the tires. This track is already abrasive enough on tires. You see a rather old surface. In those turns, there's not a lot of banking. These cars really have to rely on the Goodyear rubbers to get around this place fast. And that track temp is just going to add to the wear. Everybody's setups are different, though. And I think if anybody's got a really good long-run setup, maybe they can stretch it enough to make it on one stop. Of course, you don't have to make it the full 70 either. You can do 60 and 60. Cut it in half, but it's going to be interesting nonetheless. And of course, if we get a caution, changes everything up. Back here, we got Ryan Shear on the 20, already in the outside wall. Looked like he was trying to make the move to the outside of the 2 of Sean Kaltenbach, maybe, but that's part of that track temp right there. He washed a little bit out of the groove, and doesn't matter how much you get out of it. There's just not a lot of room to go here. Ooh, the 51's going to get a little lockup back into Ryan Shiro again. That's Jerry Isaacs, one of the Mad Sim Racing drivers. These guys all scrambling for some of these back positions. Looks like that was the battle for 20th. And they finally are going to start to settle it down. But up front, Austin Fitzgerald, he took the lead away on the first lap. And he's already got this lead extended pretty good, over half a second. Only 4 laps in. But how about the 2 Team Marble iRacing drivers? They started behind each other. They're still running behind each other. Jeff Marble, he always has a good long-run setup, but he kind of tells me a lot of weeks. He tells the guys a lot of weeks in general. He's, man, if I could have got myself a better qualifying effort there, I think I would have had something to get the race win. Well, here he goes. He gets himself a really good qualifying effort tonight, starting third. And we'll see what he can do, as he has a very fast Joshua Watson behind him. And a hungry Joshua Watson. You know, he's got the most wins on the season, but hasn't had the best last couple of weeks. and he would certainly like to change that around here tonight. There's the 04, another JBR E-Racing driver. That's Brian Watson. He currently sits in 13th position, and you see it, that the whole field's really starting to single file out. Not much you can do about that. Again, it's kind of what we're going to see. Gateway is a very interesting track, so guys can only stay side by side so long. The cars definitely don't handle the best here of all the tracks we go to. And side-by-side racing becomes limited in. All it's going to be is, after the restarts, they'll be really aggressive for about a lap or two, and then it'll single out until we start to see passes like this, where Joshua Watson's looking to the inside, and I'm a little surprised on that move. I thought for sure the outside, at least your 1 and 2, would be favorable. You can kind of pinch that guy on the inside down, but the 01's making it work, and he is going to send it in there. Almost gets clear of Jeff Marble. I think he's going to get it here off of turn 4. Sure enough, he does. That moves the 01 up to 3rd, the 15 back to 4th. And Cody Richardson might have a little run here that he thinks about diving out with as well. Another thing, though, we talked about track tempo, obviously, but you'll notice here the turns at Gateway 1 and 2 is much different than 3 and 4. And in fact, we can kind of pull up the track map, give you a little bit of a representation. You see how it almost looks like a bigger Martinsville, but also kind of misshaped in its own way. Turns 1 and 2 is a lot more narrow than 3 and 4, but it does have about 2 degrees more banking. Coming in, I think it's 11 degrees of banking, and then you go over to 3 and 4. It's a little bit flatter at 9 degrees banking, but the radius is a lot bigger. So actually 3 and 4 is a faster set of corners than 1 and 2 is, and you will see these guys reaching those top speeds the end of the front straightaway down into turn 1. Looks like Tyler Marble has caught right back up to your leader, Austin Fitzgerald. These two getting ready to go back at it. Again, we don't have any stage breaks here in the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series, so it's a dead sprint, and we have started to see, I feel like the season's gone on. The green flags run has started to get a little better. Of course, we've had our hiccup races. Martinsville was a good example, but Gateway, with it being one of the tracks that everybody gets separated after a restart pretty good. I think if these guys can maybe get another 20 laps or so under their belt under green, I think that might set us up for a long green flag run. Hey, potentially going the whole race green. We'll have to see. Pit road here is going to be another tricky task. But let's go right on board with your current leader, Austin Fitzgerald, as he holds off a charging Tyler Marble and Joshua Watson. Looking at the dashboard here. So he gets down to, it looked like about 100 through 3 and 4. Cranks it up. There is going to be some shifting involved here, but what's going to be interesting is some guys might choose to go down to 3rd, and actually I take that back. Looks like there's not going to be any shifting, at least to 5th. Austin Fitzgerald ran all the way up, just about maxed out 4th gear. It looks like he set up his ratios. I like that move a lot. We'll see how that pans out. Not gonna have to worry about it down the backstretch, as it's not as fast. Sends it in, so he goes down to 3rd gear in 1 and 2. Kind of runs around the middle. Looks like 3 and 4, he's a lot more committed towards the bottom. And he only gets down to 4th gear off of 4. Watch the speeds here. Stays in 4th to the end of the straightaway. Gets up to maybe about the mid-160s before we see that heavy braking zone. I wouldn't be too surprised if we start to see some glowing brake rotors as this race goes on. But the battle for the lead, although it's, single file, Tyler Marble hasn't fallen off. He kind of keeps... They almost are trading lap times, if you will, and in fact, we'll look at that. And maybe not so much, actually. It looks like Austin Fitzgerald has consistently been a little bit faster here. Not by too much, though. Now, if you compare that to Joshua Watson there, it certainly looked like he might be running a little bit faster than both of the leaders right now. And he's going to try to make a move here down to the inside. Not much Tyler Marble can do, so it does seem like early here, the inside's the place to be. You can kind of force your way up a little bit if you need to. If the guy's wanting to pinch you down, you kind of get a little aggressive, maybe shove him up the track a little bit. No harm, no foul, and I think we might see a couple little bump and runs today, depending on how it works. We go to a track like Martinsville, we know it's only one lane. You really can't go anywhere else. So while Gateway is shaped in a lot similar fashion, we have already seen a lot of passes without any contact. I'd like to see it. Here we go. Danny Gutierrez back here. Last guy rounding out the top 10, excuse me. Currently up 4 positions from where he started. It's a JBR E-Racing driver. Oh, we had one get loose there. Oh, that is Danny Gutierrez. Going to spin back up the track into the outside wall slightly, and then he spins back down. Caution's out. No damage, and everyone's going to miss him. First caution of the night comes in a little bit unusual fashion here. Looked like he may have just gotten loose just as we were getting ready to change the camera view. And he's already loose here. This is out of turns 1 and 2. This is probably the first car that I've seen, at least via the TV views, that's got loose. Did he get a little help here is the question. That's Brian Curry in the 28. Oh, no, he was loose well beforehand. The 28 maybe gives him another bump, slightly overcorrects, locks it up. Ooh, does tag the outside wall just a little bit and then locks it up again so that everybody else is able to go by and miss him. And we'll actually take a view on board with him. We're going to back this up a little bit more. See if we get a little bit of a better shot here. Then we'll check it out from TV3. Oh man, he just barely overcorrects it. It's so hard to do. You can get away with it a little bit more to track like Gateway where you're not running that fast out of the corner either way. You do that at a track, one of the mile and a half we go to, he would have probably been done, but does a great job. Wow, somebody just snuck by on the outside. Could not tell who that was. Oh my goodness. That's Brian Watson. Oh man, he actually looks like has to touch the wall a little bit to make sure that there's no contact, but he makes it through nonetheless. All right, let's ride on board with the 04 here. Yeah, you see Danny just get loose, sees him coming back up. Throttles it back up, sneaks through unharmed. Man, very, very impressive dodging maneuver there from Brian Watson. 15 laps in is the lap that we're going to find our first caution on. In fact, caution flew on lap 14. Austin Fitzgerald is still leading the way. He's led them all so far. Joshua Watson, though, probably the biggest mover inside the top 10, that is, up 2 from where he started. Tyler Marble moving back a couple positions. He is down to 3rd, of course, qualified on the pole. Cody Richardson in 4th from Sim Racing, and his teammate, Andrew Kotska, both of those guys rounding at your top 5. Jeff Marble maybe looking for a long run because on that shorter run, he did fall back a few positions as well. He is down 3 from where he started in 6th. Andrew Neidhart in 7th. Adrian Watts, the rookie, still hanging around in the top 10, 8th. In that beautiful purple Ryko paint scheme. Scott Glasso in 9th. Brian Curry rounding out your top 10. Brian Watson 11th. Alan Pajari 12th. Brian Conklin is going to be 13th. Sean Kaltenbach 14th. Jeff Schutt 15th. Jerry Isaacs in 16th. Ryan Shearer 17th. Dave Sanders in 18th. It's going to be Bill Benedict in 19th. And Matthew Cox. This, I believe, is a new driver. Let's go ahead and hold it here for just a minute. And from what I'm seeing, again, we'll have updated driver info next week. A new guy in the series. We couldn't get everything on him for this race, but it's looking like that might be a new Team Watson Racing edition. That's a heck of a good-looking paint scheme, I'll tell you that much. And based off what we've seen so far from Team Watson Racing, remember last week they completed it to where they were the first team that had a driver, well, a driver from, let's see how I can, let me rephrase that. Every one of their drivers, rather, got a win here on the season. Ryan Curry, the most recent winner, and we saw Sean Kaltenbach get it at Talladega, and then Andrew Neidhart get it at Bristol. And Matthew Cox was very fast in practice, so we'll have to see how he's looking by the end of this race. Just behind him, we're going to find Cody Matthews, who's having a good run here so far tonight. Currently sits in 21st, hanging just around outside the top 20. Certainly would be a good run for one of the independent drivers. Jacob Musso from the Musso Speed Shop, 22nd. Richard Elliott, 23rd. Cody Colley, 24th. Glenn Grigsby in 25th. Thomas O'Hara, 26th. Jared Bundy in 27th. Jeff Barnes, 28th. Matthew Gehringer, 29th. And there's the man, Johnny Mikulchuk. We got to give him a nickname of sorts. Of course, he is our fuel guy. Gives us the fuel numbers each week, and we certainly appreciate him for it. And he currently sits in the 30th position. Todd Shiro, 31st. Ryan Haynes, 32nd. Danny Gutierrez, 33rd. And Jeffrey Souza sitting in 34th. And in fact, I think he's off. No, he is not. He is currently 16 laps down, so it looks like he just joined the race. Must have had a technical issue that he wasn't able to quite solve. And that is probably going to end his night. But hey, still get out here, go for points. You know, run all the laps. You never know what's going to happen in these things. And I know while he's not going to be able to make up 16 laps in the race, I could bet you every dime I had, he still could certainly beat some of these guys that potentially wreck out later on. Something of the sort. You never know. But hey, Austin Fitzgerald is looking like the class of the field so far, at least on the short run. But I don't want to rule out a very, very fast Joshua Watson right now. I think he very well might have something for these guys later in the going. And you'll notice right now it looks like on the driver info cards that we have up, the picture's not showing up. I do apologize about that tonight. Normally we have those. And we did a quick reset, but it looks like we're not going to get any dice. It doesn't matter, though, because what we're focused on is the racing. And we are getting ready to go back green here at Gateway. Looks like another pretty even start. Actually, Joshua Watson beats him through the gears. The 01's looking to get cleared down into turn 1. Can he take it? He does. He's going to jump right in front of the nose of the 74, Austin Fitzgerald. Not much he could do, but now he's going to look to fight back on the inside. Big run from the 01 on the outside. He makes the momentum work down the back straightaway. They stay side by side further back. Everybody's going to try to continue to sort it out as we work our way through these first couple laps. The 04 of Brian Watson looks to the inside of Sean Kaltenbach. 51 of Jerry Isaacs is looking to see if any of these guys are going to slip up. And up here, Scott Glasso and Brian Curry trying to make a charge on the outside line. If you can, I always thought if you can get that position midway through the corner, the outside that is, you want to keep it. But I think if you're going for a pass on the entry to a corner, you want to pick the low side. Scott Glasso slipped up a little bit out of the groove there. That hot track temp showing for him as he fell quite a few positions. Did a good job, though, keeping it out of the outside wall. Looking at the track temp, it's cooled down only about a degree. Not too great a news for these guys. Wind still at 9 miles an hour. And, man, that has certainly been a challenge here early. So what that caution did do is it made this strategy, in my opinion at least, a lot more certain. Again, we're not exactly sure how long all these guys can go on tires, but you got to assume it's long enough to make it on one stop from here. Of course, we'll have to find out once we get there. Looking back a little bit further here, I wanted to go back to Brian Conklin. This guy's still looking for, you can't really call it a breakout season anymore, but the speed has been there just about all season. But I think of all the drivers, the guy that has just not had the luck portion of it has probably been Brian Conklin. Some guys have had a couple races not go their way. It seems like every race there's something that catches the 37, something that you really couldn't see coming that catches you off guard. And while he watches the rest of his team doing pretty good, having a strong season, he knows he's got the speed, he knows he's got the experience, but now he's just going to need a little bit more luck to start finishing some of these things out. Jeff Shutt, on the other hand, this is a guy that's really starting to turn things around. He has been absolutely smoking the last couple weeks. Had some runs up inside the top 10, even top 5, and he's looking to see if he can continue that here tonight. One of the two drivers for No Excuses Racing, his teammate Johnny McCulchuk, looks to get some momentum going, and Matthew Cox has gained about 3 more positions since we last checked on him. He is now in 17th and up 14 from where he started. Tell you what, once Joshua Watson took the lead there, it seems like Austin Fitzgerald's car may not be too much of a fan of that dirty air. The 01 is scooting away here early. Cody Richardson as well. We saw how good he was at Richmond. Ooh, some contact back here between Tyler Marble. And it looks like Andrew Kotska, some more contact out of the turn. They're still trying to gather it up. Oh, man, Jeff Marble got really, really loose. Almost overcorrected, was able to save it as Adrian Watts is going to dive to the inside. And I was just going to say, though, that Cody Richardson, who's currently second, very fast. We saw him get the win at Richmond. And although it's not quite a short track here, it's got similar features with the heavy braking zones and a lot of throttle control out of the corners. And he's starting to track down your current leader, Joshua Watson. So is Austin Fitzgerald. And I really think this race will come down to who has the best long-run car, assuming we can go green here for a little while. Looking further back in the field, a little side-by-side action here. That's Jeff Shutt and Matthew Cox, the Team Watson Racing drivers, trying to make a move on the outside. All right, let's see if it's going to work here. We talked about in 1 and 2, if you're going to make a move on entry, I think I like the inside, but he's able to make it stick here. It looks like the 27 kind of squeezes him up the track just a little bit. But sure enough, the momentum was there. Matthew Cox gets clear of the 27. That was for 15th, but more importantly, something that anybody around him is probably noting right now, saying to themselves, all right, so we can make it work on the outside. The biggest challenge of it, though, is trying to just hang on the right rear in the center of the corner. That's where the guy on the inside is really going to try to push you up the track and make you work for it. Does a nice job there holding on to the position, though. Alan Pajari, he's going to tuck in line. Looks like he's on the outside, but not quite working the way he wants it to. Let's take a look. We talked about different setups. Let's go one of the Team Watson Racing drivers' setups here. This is Matthew Cox, and by setups, I mean, let's see what it looks like he's running here inside the cockpit. Gets down to 4th gear. actually stays in fourth gear. Let's see if he shifts here on the straightaway or stays in fourth. Ooh, Brian Watson into the outside wall just in front of him there. Wasn't too bad. He's going to be okay. We might have had somebody else. So that was actually a little lockup in front. And man, you can see everybody is really up the track right now. It just looks like these cars are not wanting to stick to the bottom through 1 and 2. 3 and 4, it's a little bit of a different story here. Cody Richardson is knocking on the back door of Joshua Watson right now. He might have to think about giving him a little piece of the chrome bumper here in a short time. It's just so hard to pass here, especially when two cars are pretty even. These guys look pretty even. I think Cody Richardson maybe looks a little better here, at least over the last couple laps. And proof of that is probably going to be found in the lap times here. And it looks like, yep, sure enough, Cody Richardson has been a little bit faster. They've kind of been trading off laps, but overall, it looks like the last 3 out of the last 5, Cody Richardson has been faster. Thinking about making a move down here in 3 and 4. Joshua Watson's going to take his line away. Interestingly enough, with this driving like a short track in the corners, the clean air doesn't matter quite as much. Of course, you certainly would like it, and everybody's fighting for it, but that's why you can see Cody Richardson, even when Joshua Watson dives down, it kind of takes his line away. He's able to still stick really, really close. 1 and 2, though, it looks like he's able to run a little lower. This time he is going to stick the back bumper slightly to the 0-1. Let them know I'm here and I'm ready to go. Now he dives to the inside. Not quite going to be enough. He needs the quarter panel, but he's going to try to keep his nose out there. And Joshua Watson, like the veteran he is, he knows it's early. He's going to give the 46 a lane to work with, but by no means is he going to give it away here. It's going to try to stick it really, really aggressive to the bottom. Cody Richardson drag race to the line. He led that lap. Down into 1 and 2. I think this is where the 46 gets clear, and he does. Able to do it. The 0-1's looking for a little crossover here. I think he realized he had a little too much speed. Has to check up. Gets out of it. And your new leader is going to be Cody Richardson here on lap 29. All right, so we went green with about 17 to go, as long as I'm, remembering it right. That should put everybody in the pits at the absolute latest if you could run your full fuel run on your set of tires somewhere around lap 80, 87. I don't think we're going to wait to see guys pit that long necessarily by any means, but it just depends on the strategy. I think if you went into pit during that caution, I still am a big fan of the strategy. Split this in half. We know how hot the track is. We know how hard these guys have all had to kind of be on their tires. So I think if you split it in half, that's going to be your best shot at getting, the fastest times. Max out the wear life on both sets if you can. And you try to run one too long, you might lose some time to guys that short pit. And if you try to short pit, you might not have any tires left at the end. And with that being the case, I would say look to see guys pit here probably somewhere in the 60 to 75 range, if I had to guess. I think maybe more towards 60, 65 to 75, but we will just have to see how they all decide to play it out. But the 46 of Cody Richardson, he's slowly but surely trying to stretch it out, only at about a 10th right now. Joshua Watson continuing to push. He just can't seem to find much for him. And let's see if Cody Richardson's got anything vastly different. We haven't seen anybody go into 5th gear yet on the straightaways. And looks like not quite. You see, he actually does hit the rev limiter, and that could be the slight difference. Cody Richardson gains a lot of time. Of course, we saw him gaining quite a bit of time throughout the corners. But hey, if you can tweak out a couple more RPMs down the straightaways than your competitors, that can certainly help. Austin Fitzgerald, I thought he was going to really start to fall back after he lost that clean air and quickly lost 2 positions. But he's been sticking around in 3rd. Looks like he's still maybe trying to track down Joshua Watson. And then 4th, Andrew Kotska, Cody Richardson's teammate. No surprise that if they're bringing a similar setup, they're both running pretty darn fast here inside the top 5. And these 5 have pulled away from the rest of the field by about a mile. You see Andrew Kotska's 1 second away from the leader, so you could say all those guys are pretty close to each other. In fact, you can see them all in the same camera frame. You go back after that, you're going to have to go all the way to just now out of turn 2, where you'll find Tyler Marble and quite a big group that's all single file right now. They are over 4 seconds behind the back bumper of the last car in that lead pack, if you will, Andrew Kotska. And that's Andrew Niedert. He's trying to go to the inside there. It looks like Tyler Marble's going to have to give him some room. 48's going to look like have to surrender that position, although they're going to continue to battle for it. In fact, the 36 got a little loose off the corner. Brian Curry, does he think about 3 wide or does he try to push one of these guys? And Jeff Marble's thinking about trying to get that position from his teammate as well. He's going to cut him a little bit of a break, it looks like there. Jerry Isaac's in line, but then just behind those guys, looks like a little side-by-side action here. And there's the other No Excuses Racing teammate, Johnny McCulchuk. Him and Matthew Cox race side-by-side. The 72 looks like he could really drive it in deep down into 3. And in fact, wow, he makes it work. Matthew Cox, I thought for sure he'd have a little bit of a run off the straightaway, but not quite. So that moves Johnny McCulchuk up a position. He is now inside the top 10. And I'm telling you what, we're seeing a lot of brake lockups so far. Not too surprised about it. But something to note, if you lock up your brakes a little too hard, well, just in general, whenever you lock the brakes, the car's not going to steer. It doesn't matter how much you turn the wheel. Ooh, Cody Colley got really loose right there. He saves it. If you lock up the brakes, though, down into especially turns 1 and 2, just even if it's a slight lockup, you could very well overshoot the corner, send yourself into the outer wall. Could certainly ruin your night, but what I am starting to see here as we've ran almost the exact same laps as we have in that first run is guys are really starting to struggle. In fact, that first caution was brought out by Danny Gutierrez, who was struggling to find any grip. He currently sits back in 32nd position. He would certainly like to see if he could get a caution here, get some track position back. I guess the good news for Danny right now is he doesn't have to battle anybody too hard to get that lap back. Looks like he is currently the lucky dog, at least as Todd Shiro is currently on the pits. Ooh, he's got heavy right side damage all the way from front to back. Not sure what happened to the 3 car. I wonder if this was recent or a little while ago. Either way, that beautiful looking iRacing flag Chevy Camaro, I don't know if he's going to repair that and come back out or if he's going to go ahead and retire for the night. Cody Richardson's lead is now getting closer and closer to about a second over second place. What was Joshua Watson, now Austin Fitzgerald. And hold on just a minute. Looks like Brian Watson has had some trouble here. Yellow flag is out for the 04. Man, left side's destroyed on that thing as well. The toe is all beat up. And this looks like an inside wall hit that was probably pretty difficult for the 04. Man, quick shout out to Joe Williamson rooting on Danny Gutierrez, and then Kyle Oakley, one of the regulars for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series, said he wasn't going to be here tonight. Still here rooting on the drivers. Oh man, the toe is destroyed in that thing. That's going to be heavy repair time. And I'm thinking this could be a product of him just getting loose. Yeah, you see he's already in the grass at this point. It looks like it's going to be a hit off the inside wall. Does he get some help? That's always your first question. Kind of 3 wide. Ooh, looks like he very well might. That was a big shot. That inside wall doesn't have safer barrier, so it is going to do a little bit more damage to these cars. And absolutely nothing the 04 could do. Let's go right on the chopper here. Back this up. Not sure if this was a little bit of a stack up initially or what had happened. But either way, somebody did not get the memo. That's the 90 of Bill Benedict up top. The 07 on the bottom. So far, so good. The 07 Thomas O'Hara. Show you one more time. Man, that's really close. Oh, okay, so it wasn't contact from behind. Bill Benedict actually is where the contact ensues. The front left of the 90, is he getting loose is the next question you got to ask yourself. Watch real carefully. Yeah, it looks like the 90 is a little loose. Comes down and just left rear hits the 04, and nothing he can do from there. He is along for the ride. He's going to try to save this thing, but there's just not a lot of room to go here. I'm surprised how hard he hit the wall, considering they just made their way out of turn 2. Luckily, everybody else is going to escape. Fortunately, not lucky for Brian Watson. Draws out the second caution of the night. Back up front, Cody Richardson is your current leader. He is looking lightning fast right now. Joshua Watson second. Andrew Kotska third. Austin Fitzgerald fourth. And Andrew Nieder currently rounding out the top 5. Johnny McCulchuk, maybe not in the top 5, but we got to give him a shout out because he's up 16 spots from where he started. Currently in 6th position. You got to wonder if he's on different strategy than these guys or if he's just found that much speed. Either way, tip of the cap to Johnny McCulchuk right now. See if we get a quick word with one of these guys in here. In fact, I'd like to see, maybe we can't get a quick word here with your current leader from Ad Sim Racing, Cody Richardson. Let's pull him in. Hey, Cody, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
All right, man. Well, you know, the last time I saw you dominate this hard, this early, was Richmond, where you got your first win on the season. Man, the car's looking fast tonight. How's it feeling?
Yeah, it's feeling pretty good. It's a little loose out here. Track temp's pretty hot and slick, just like it was yesterday. I watched the 8 car go to victory lane yesterday in the stands in the front row. Hope the fans in the front row here, we're just going to watch this 46 go to victory lane. Still a long ways to go, though. Cars behind me are pretty solid as well. But I think if we can get a long green flag run, we got something for them for sure.
Well, speaking of a long green flag run, if we get to a point here, we know that you're still going to have to pit once more. What kind of strategy do you play here? Do you think about splitting it in half? Do you go long? Do you go short? What are you thinking?
I think it all depends on how the track's feeling, how the car's feeling, and what the people around me are doing. I hate to be the one to first one down and the caution come out and blow that, but if you don't come down quick, somebody's going to jump you with the undercut anyway. I don't know. We're going to have to play it by ear, see what happens. I think we got just enough sets of tires to do it, and hopefully we go green from here, though, and we'll figure it out on the fly.
Well, the car looks good, and it looks fast early. Good luck the rest of the way. We'll see if you can get the job done.
Awesome. Thanks.
Cody Richardson in the 46, going to drag him back down to his teammates here. And you know what? I got to kind of give myself a little slap on the wrist for this one. I wouldn't say forget. We don't talk about him a lot, but another guy that we got to talk about here to give equal credit to Mad Sim Racing is Dave Sanders. He's out here a lot of the time, hasn't got a win yet this season, but it's continued to improve throughout the season. Nonetheless, the 77 for Mad Sim Racing, currently sitting around mid-pack in 18th position, but up 5 from where he started. And he's also had a couple bright moments this season. Some of them have been overshadowed by incidents not of his causing. But decent run so far here from tonight. We'll see if he can continue to improve on it. Pace car working its way down to the pit road. All right, here we go. 2 cautions and 41 laps. And we are back green at Gateway. Joshua Watson with another good restart. Looks like this time the 46, though, is going to be able to hang dead even with them as they work their way down into turn 1. But, wow, the 01's going to take it. Powerful move from Joshua Watson on the outside. The 46, though, fighting back on exit. They're going to go side by side here. Cody Richardson got the left rear. He's going to get a little bit of side draft and try to get a push from his teammate Andrew Kotska. But at this point, it looks like the 47 is going to have to settle for trying to follow his teammate through towards the front. Joshua Watson tried to fight on the outside, couldn't make it work. Tucks back in line. Jeff Marble side by side with the one of Matthew Cox. So Joshua Watson, you know, he is a little interesting there. I was surprised that as hard as he was able to send it in, the big is, ooh, and he gets into the outside wall there a little bit. As big of a lead as he got, he wasn't able to hold on to it. Seems like the inside might be the place to go on the restart, but it's really all about preference, just as the tire wear and when you pit is going to go on here. I mean, Cody Richardson, his setup seems to be really good on, well, right now, the long run and the short run, and if you can do that, I don't see what's stopping you from winning the race. And I can't tell you the last time we saw somebody be really good on the short run and the long run, but right now, Cody Richardson is certainly showing that. Go back a little bit here. Everybody single filed out pretty quick throughout this restart. Looks like Brian Conklin is thinking about making a move here on Ryan Shiro, but he's going to lose the momentum down the straightaway. And there's a look. Last week's winner, Brian Curry, got the job done. And the reason I had mentioned that about Dave Sanders, you know, I haven't seen Dave every week again because, you know, it gets overshadowed, if you will, by sometimes the fact that his teammates have all gotten a win. But again, they all put in work trying to get the setups right. Team Watson Racing, though, done a heck of a job. Mad Sim Racing, of course, is who I was talking about with Dave Sanders. That's one of the guys they'd like to see get a win. They've already seen Cody Richardson do it. Him and Andrew Kotska still got a little bit of work to do to get there. And as we say all that, we still keep the eyes back here. Although your leaders are trying to start to make a little bit of gap here. Cody Richardson's trying to get to that half a second mark. Joshua Watson, Andrew Kotska, and looks like Austin Fitzgerald, even Andrew Nieder. They're all hanging pretty strong, but I think the 01 is still a couple adjustments away from where he would certainly like to be. Got plenty of time, though, as we are still 15 laps away from halfway. The two cautions here tonight, by the way, have not been anything egregious. The one early was guys kind of getting a feel for the track. Danny Gutierrez, of course, kind of half spun out, spun the other way, a little bit overcorrecting. Nobody got involved, and in fact, the 08 really didn't get that much damage. Then the second caution there was Brian Watson getting contact from Bill Benedict. Sent him for a slide through the grass and hard into the inside wall. Now the beneficiary of that caution, or the biggest beneficiary of it, if you will, you had to assume was going to be Danny Gutierrez, and sure enough, he's been taking full advantage of it. He's got himself back up to 26th. I think he still maybe needs another caution to improve some position, but overall he's got a lot of time, and putting himself back on the lead lap is certainly a good way to start. Take a look here at the left front of these guys and see if we can see anything. I'm not sure. We are in the daytime here, and depending on the way these guys set up, they might not be using quite as much brake as I'm thinking they are. It's pretty aggressive on it. It doesn't look like there's really any brake load there. Maybe just a little bit, actually. Check out the left rear. And these are the guys running back in the pack. You got to assume that, of course, they're using maybe a little bit more braking. Back up front, though, Cody Richardson, whatever kind of braking he's doing, everybody else is trying to match it. The 36 of Andrew Nieder is now knocking on the back door of Austin Fitzgerald. The 03 of Adrian Watts, he's looking to try to crack the top 5, and Tyler Marble is back. His teammate Jeff Marble trying to chase down this group. Jeff Marble is currently down 5 from where he started, but we haven't really had any of those long runs yet, so we don't have the chance to have seen that 15 car's full potential just yet. On the other hand, Johnny McCulchuk, he is showing full potential right now, running inside the top 10, up 13 from where he started. And Jared Bundy, the driver of the 6 Budweiser machine, this is a great run for him so far tonight. He's inside the top 10 as an independent driver, and you know, for a lot of the independent guys, even getting a top 20 is a huge deal for them. They don't have the resources. They don't quite have as much time, in the sense of they don't have teammates who are also, you know, messing around with the setup, getting all those practice laps in to make adjustments. It's all them by themselves. So for Jared Bundy to be running as close as he is to the front right now is a heck of a statement for what he's been able to do in the off week and the practice time, if you will. There's Sean Kaltenbach, Bill Benedict, who had the contact earlier with Brian Watson. Of course, that was in the left rear, and I don't think he suffered too much. Actually, in fact, doesn't look like he really suffered any damage. He still runs pretty strong inside the top 20. There's Dave Sanders, Brian Curry. Going back here, Jeff Barnes made his way inside the top 20 after starting 30th. Just behind Brian Conklin. Danny Gutierrez up to 22nd. Gained 4 more positions in just a couple laps that we took our eyes off of him. And we had that. It definitely changed up the strategy more. It's still a one-stop. Nobody is able to make it quite the whole way just yet. However, if we get a caution anytime after, probably to be 100% safe after lap 70, but if we get one after lap 60, it becomes a possibility. We'll have to see how guys pan it out. Heck, even now, these guys could all make it in terms of on fuel mileage. The problem would become those tires, which, as hot as the track temp's been so far here today, I don't think anybody would be able to make it on the set of tires that they have. The track temp has cooled down 2 more degrees down to 127. Certainly, it's not a big difference by any means. Joshua Watson, wonder if he did make some sort of adjustment, at least in terms of the long run. We're not quite in the long run just yet, but he has really started to catch up now to Cody Richardson. And in fact, what we saw Cody Richardson doing to the 01 last time looks like he's going to do right back this time. See if he can make a move here. He gets right to the back bumper, gets to the inside. He's looking to see if he can get a side draft. Nothing yet. But I think the 01's going to kind of commit to this position. And sure enough, Cody Richardson's not going to be able to fend it off from this. Actually looking for the crossover. He gets it. Oh, a little nudge. Not going to make it work. Nicely done. Great pass there from Joshua Watson. And I think me and Cody Richardson might have been thinking the same thing. I thought he opened it up, but he didn't. He did a great job after making the move, getting that car slowed down enough to be able to make it rotate through the corner and slide down to keep Cody Richardson from advancing any further. Andrew Kotska still hanging tough with these 3. And then Austin Fitzgerald is still under fire from Andrew Nieder. Looks like Adrian Watts is still hanging around there as well. Tyler Marble has faded off about a car length or two. And Jeff Marble has not had much luck yet trying to catch up to these guys. All right, well, we're 55 of 120 laps in here at World Wide Technology Raceway. You're watching the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series as we go side by side. Stick with us. Back live at World Wide Technology Raceway here for the Gateway 150 for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. Just now approaching that halfway mark here in the 120 lap event. Joshua Watson is your current leader, Cody Richardson second, Andrew Kotska third, Austin Fitzgerald fourth, and Andrew Nieder rounding out your top five. Adrian Watts in sixth, Jeff Marble seventh, Tyler Marble eighth, Jared Bundy moving up another position. He's up to ninth as he fights here with Jerry Isaacs. In fact, they're both battling for that position. Matthew Cox kind of patiently waiting in the shadows behind these two, seeing who's going to slip up first, and it is going to be Jared Bundy. He's going to make a move to the inside here as well. We haven't talked enough about the line here tonight, so I want to go back. I'm going to take a little bit of a different view here. In fact, we're going to go to the nose of one of your leaders here. In fact, let's go to Cody Richardson. Of course, Joshua Watson, your leader, but second place here. And I'm going to try to kind of take everybody through the general line that these guys run here, at least what we're seeing from one of your top guys, if you will. And we're going to start it here at the start-finish line this next lap around. You see we got the track map up there. Oh, caution's out. Caution is out. Trying to figure out who it's for here. Nothing yet. Can't tell exactly what happened here. Everybody looks to have gotten whatever the problems were sorted out. Could have been potentially an innocent spin. And that caution does fly at literally just over the halfway mark, 61 laps in. And this is a good point where now we might see some guys. This may be one of the first races all season where we do not see any green flag pit stops. Not even a chance for one, at least. Let's go back and take a look at what happens here. We couldn't exactly figure out where the caution had first happened here, so we're still looking for that. Oh, there you go. A little something on the backstretch here. Oh, there we go. And that's going to be your answer. Looks like Scott Glasso may have had some trouble along with the 14 of Jeff Barnes. Yeah, these two are going to get together. Man. Off of turn 2. Looks clean here. Oh, man, that 4 gets loose. 14 minding in his own business. Jeff Barnes, nothing he could do. He gets right hooked. Not intentionally, of course. And then Danny Gutierrez looks like he has nowhere to go as well. And he's going to get involved in this little stack up. Don't think anybody's going to suffer heavy damage from that event, but certainly kind of a double tap for Danny Gutierrez tonight, as that's the second incident that he's had to be involved in. And then the 14 is going to get with some front end damage. Same for Scott Glasso. He probably also got some right side damage. That was an interesting looking one for sure. You see just a little bit of contact. Man, Danny Gutierrez really did have nowhere to go. Let's take a view on board here from the 4 of Scott Glasso. And we've seen it already a couple times tonight. This time it finally is gonna bite him, but a lot of guys had been fighting the looseness. In fact, this would make the third. All 3 cautions have been caused by somebody getting loose. First one was Danny Gutierrez getting loose, overcorrecting. The second one, Bill Benedict getting loose, coming down into Brian Watson. And this one, Scott Glasso getting loose, coming down into the 14 of Jeff Barnes. Certainly mixes us up for some interesting strategy play, And it looks like Andrew Kotska is being scored as your leader. Jared Bundy being shown in second, up 13 from where he started. Joshua Watson in third, Cody Richardson in fourth, Andrew Nieder in fifth, Austin Fitzgerald sixth, Adrian Watt seventh, Jeff Marble eighth, Tyler Marble ninth, and Matthew Cox rounding out your top 10. And let's see if we can go ahead and maybe pull somebody else up here. I'd like to get a word here if I can find him with Jared Bundy on the run that he's having tonight, because it certainly is a heck of a run for him. But it's looking like I'm not seeing him here, at least as of right now. And sure enough, I'm not seeing him. So you know what? Let's go ahead and do the next best thing. Let's talk to the man making his debut. Matthew Cox. Matthew, this is all set up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, you're making your debut race here tonight at Gateway, and man, you got a lot more than I've got out here, because I don't think I could have made my debut at a track as tricky as this, but overall, you're looking really fast so far tonight in the 1 car, but what more do you think you're going to need to have a shot at the win at this thing?
It's going to be tricky here. We're going to be on the last set of tires here, so it's going to be probably about managing when you take your last set. Just hope I get it right.
Well, you know, speaking of making your debut here, we don't have it 100% sure, but we're kind of assuming that you might be a Team Watson Racing driver. Is this true?
Yep. House driver for Team Watson.
Well, I mean, I don't want to put any pressure on you, but all 3 of the other guys have a win so far, and I don't think it's going to take you that long to get yours.
I'm going to do my best. I don't know if I'll be able to get through these guys up here. These guys are pretty quick, but we're going to give it hell.
All right, hey, thanks for talking to us, man, and good luck the rest of the way tonight.
Yep, thank you.
That's Matthew Cox. I slid him down to Team Watson Racing, although when we first picked him up here, he wasn't in the team channel, oddly enough. All right, either way, he's going to be starting in 10th, the outside of row 5. I'm interested to see what Jared Bundy can show us right here. The 6, he looked fast back there, and he's going to have a shot here at clean air. And that always, as a driver, I feel like makes you work a little bit harder, drive it in just a little bit deeper. And we see the outside, it's almost worked a couple times, although I think Andrew Kotska might be a little bit more dominant here on the bottom. I think if he can get clear out of 2, he might have a chance to pull away as well, just as much as Jared Bundy could if he gets clear out of 2. Pace car pulls off. 64 laps complete, over halfway. 1 set of tires left. Green flag back in the air. Really good start from Andrew Kotska. Joshua Watson as well. He's going to waste no time, looking 3 wide as they shuffle back down to 2 into turn 1. This is, and man, Jared Bundy, not sure if he's on a much different tire stretch. He must be. He's really fallen back in a hurry. Already lost over a handful, almost 2 handfuls of position worth now. Just a couple of sets of corners. Everybody's trying to sort it out back here. Looks like a little bit more 3 wide up ahead. Is this going to work? Jeff Shutt on the bottom, Sean Kaltbach in the middle. Brian Curry up top. First time we've seen this tonight. Now Jared Bundy up top. Things get really, really tight off the turns here, but they all are able to get it sorted out. Oh my goodness. And these guys still stay. You can tell that action's picking up here. You know, we're only over halfway by about 4 laps, but guys, the desperation is starting to set in here a little bit. We've seen that once that single file is out, passing becomes very far and few between, so get as many positions as you can here on the restarts. And I think if we were to get a late restart here, that's just a taste of what we're going to see. Looks like Jacob Musso. Man, Jared Bundy fell off a cliff here. You got to assume he tried a tire strategy. I'm not sure if he just doesn't have any left or if he's got an extra set left hoping for a caution or what, but I don't think I like this call. It's just not working out too well right now for the 6. Meanwhile, up front, Joshua Watson is your current leader. Looks like Ryan Shiro making his way off of pit road. See if that interferes with the leaders at all. Ooh, almost some contact there. Andrew Kotska tried to get down in front of the 03 of Adrian Watts. They're all going to have to squeeze by the lapper of Ryan Shiro. So far, so good. Do you split him or do you try to use him as a pick here? If you're Andrew Kotska, and it looks like he's going to go ahead and dive right on down to the bottom. That's going to cause Tyler Marble to get trapped here. Up front, Cody Richardson and Andrew Niedert are still sticking really close to Joshua Watson. Still waiting to see these guys get it sorted out back here, though. Jeff Marble. Oh, caution's out. Excuse me. I was wondering why everybody started slowing down. Caution's out. Alan Pajari has had trouble. This is further back in the pack. Ooh, down in the grass. Down in turn 1. And the Dynamic Autosport driver has gotten, ooh, wow, heavy right front damage. In fact, you can see it. See if we can get a better view of it. Man, he has beat that thing all up. Can't really see it too much from that view, but it's not going to matter because we're about to take a replay of it. And this, what this caution does, it just further signifies that everybody's going to be able to make it to the rest of the way without a green flag pit stop. But I don't think you use your last set of tires yet. The trend with the caution so far would tell me that we're probably, even if we go green for a little while, going to have at least one more. So I definitely don't think you want to pit just yet. You want to stay out, go as long as you can. All right, let's see here. It's the 34 of Alan Pajari. Watch Johnny McCulchuk in the 72. I think he maybe hits the wall here. And then the 34 maybe gets to him a little early. That kind of, he offsets him a little bit. That sends the 72 for a spin. Alan Pajari was trying to avoid that secondary spin and just nowhere to go. These two are going to go for a slide through the grass. And it looks like Alan Pajari got the worst of it. Can't tell how bad Johnny McCulchuk's damage was from that. Let's go to the chopper cam. And you almost got to expect that something a little odd here happened because they weren't down into turn 1 yet. I'm thinking Johnny McCulchuk may have just hit the wall. It looks like Alan Pajari maybe just has a run on him here. No, the 72 never really hits the wall here. Playing it slow. No, Alan Pajari's just getting a run. He's getting a run. The 72 maybe had let off by that point. Yeah, that might have been what it was. Just two guys with different braking zones. The 72 might have let off. Or Alan Pajari maybe just misjudged it slightly. And he gets into the left rear. The back left side of the bumper, I guess I should put it that way. And contact ensues. Around they both go. Lucky these guys were maybe a little bit towards the back, and it didn't happen a little later. Otherwise, they could have slid back up the track, and that could have been a lot worse than it was. Only collects 2 cars. I don't think their days are over, but we'll have to see, of course. Speaking of guys that's days are over, looks like Jeffrey Souza currently sits in the pits. Cody Colley as well in 33rd. Brian Watson, his day's not quite over, but it's certainly not looking great. Todd Shiro did return after the damage that he had been repairing earlier. And there's Alan Pajari currently being shown in 29th. He gets back out. And it looks like they actually did a pretty good job on the right side. Logan T in the chat says, love these live vids. I can't wait for more road courses and short tracks. Wish they had the Coliseum. First of all, I'm glad you like the live shots, Logan. We certainly appreciate that. And I think you just gave us the cue, the perfect time rather, to go check out our announcements because they're going to have a little bit of good news for you. And I'm sure you can see it, but before we read it, let's start with the points. Joshua Watson leading the way. About a 10-point lead over second. Jeff Marble, Austin Fitzgerald still hanging around third. Tyler Marble in fourth. Cody Richardson fifth. Andrew Nieder at sixth. Alan Pajari seventh. Scott Naslin eighth. Andrew Kotska ninth. And Scott Glasso rounding out the top 10. And if you look, guess what's up next week? You're going to get your wish, Logan. We head to Sonoma, the first road course of the season. An interesting one for sure, but one of the more iconic ones has been around a long time in NASCAR, and it's one of the usual ones that they do run every year. Nothing too different, and I might think about running the truck race for that one. Going to be excited to watch it for sure, something different. And that's one of those races that we talk about similar to a super speedway. You really can't even take a guess at who you think's going to win it. We might have a road course specialist in here that we just don't even know exists yet. Meanwhile, Chicagoland the week after that, that is going to be a heavy drafting track. I think we're going to see a lot of pack racing, especially on the restarts. But at the same time, you still got to save tire, very abrasive. Before we head to Nashville Super Speedway, another good one, 150 laps there. Then it's going to be a bye week. Everybody's going to enjoy their 4th of July week. No race before we head to Hot Atlanta. Hotland, I believe, is the way they call it. And that was a fun track the first time we went there. That's where Austin Fitzgerald got his first win. Gave him a buttload of confidence, and he has been on fire since, I would say. New Hampshire and Pocono, Richmond as well to round out July before we head to Michigan and Indianapolis. 2 more really exciting big super speedway tracks. Speedway tracks, rather. Getting ready to go back green here. 72 laps of 120 complete. We are now under 50 to go. We said as each restart happens, this is going to get more and more aggressive. I expect to see guys dice it up that much more on this one. Into the Geico restart zone. Watch for the big jump. Green flag is back in the air as both lanes come roaring down into turn 1. And it looks like they're going to hang even. Joshua Watson sends it down deep into the corner. He gets clear. Can Cody Richardson fight back on the outside? Whole field navigating their way through 1 and 2 cleanly. Cody Richardson's not able to make a move there. Andrew Nieder, Tyler Marble, they're going to stay side by side into turn 3. Still good to see both lanes working so far here tonight at Gateway. There's Matthew Cox in the 1. He is up to 7, still on a roll-up, 27th from where he started. Boy, the 48 and the 36 are not giving each other an inch of room. Looked like the 36 tried to hold a side draft, but just couldn't quite do it. He's going to dive it back in. Can he make it stick? He's going to watch the 48 up the track a little bit. Tyler Marble is still hanging really, really tough. Very impressed. Oh, there's a contact. The 36 of Andrew Nieder around. Caution. Oh, he's flipping. Oh, my goodness. To the garage immediately. That was a huge hit for Andrew Nieder. Whatever happened. No caution. We stay green. Wow. All right. Well, let's take a look. Man, this was kind of what we saw tonight, but, I was just getting ready to say I was getting worried about these two. As hard as they were racing, the 36 just looked too fast to be able to hold it. And unfortunately, just got a little bit, I don't want to use the word in over his head, but just tried to get a little too much right here and cost himself a really, really good car tonight. Gets a little loose, maybe a slight overcorrection, gets into Tyler Marble, and then that sends him back to the infield. And there's only one thing that he sees out of his windshield now, and that's that inside wall. He's going to slam it right here. Boom. Takes that thing, flips it right over. He doesn't even get a shot at saving anything. Going to barrel roll a couple more times here before it comes to a stop. Front end's ripped off. He's got damage on all corners and the top and the bottom. And he just tows it right away. Doesn't even waste any time. Let's take a ride on board here with Andrew Nieder for that one, as it was absolutely wild, to say the least. And ironically enough, that the worst wreck of the night is the only one that doesn't bring out the caution, but he did keep it off track and in the grass, and it was only that one car, so it must not have been enough to trigger it. Either way, up front, Joshua Watson is leading the way. Cody Richardson looking to see if he can find a way to get past here on lap 77 there. It's Jeff Marble. He's got his teammate just behind him as well. Tyler Marble, these two coming to life here late in the going. Jeff Marble, I still think, would like to probably see this race go green the rest of the way. Hard to say, though. Again, we still have a lot of laps. These cars are going to get really hard to handle late in the going. Matthew Cox now up into the top 5. Andrew Kotska in 6th. Austin Fitzgerald 7th. Adrian Watts, the other rookie, still inside the top 10 in 8th. Jerry Isaacs, he's having a really good run tonight for Mad Sim Racing as well. In fact, 3 out of their 4 drivers have all been running in the top 10 at least some point here tonight. Sean Kaltenbach, he's currently in 10th. Jeff Shutt in 11th. There's Dave Sanders. He's looking to get in the top 10 to make it all 4 of their drivers. Just behind him, Thomas O'Hara, Brian Coughlin, and Brian Curry rounding out your top 15. Bill Benedict 16th. Richard Elliott 17th. Ben Grigsby 18th. 19th is going to be Jared Bundy. Jacob Musso in 20th. Johnny McCulchuk 21st. Cody Matthews 22nd. It's Scott Glasso 23rd, Jeff Barnes 24th, Alan Pajari trying to recover after that last caution contact between him and Johnny Mikulchuk. He sits in 25th. Matthew Gearinger in 26th. Giving a shout out to him tonight. Always has one of my favorite paint schemes, the bright green and black Monster Energy. Toyota Camry just behind him, 27th. Ryan Shiro in a Camaro. Danny Gutierrez looks like he's maybe struggling a little bit. I'm not sure if he's off pace from damage or what the deal is, but you see he's currently about a quarter to half a track behind the leaders, more like half a track. Ryan Haynes in 29th. That's going to be Todd Shiro in 30th. Yellow flags out. Ooh, we got some more incidents here. It looks like this is going to be one of the Musos. Looking for it now. That's Jacob Musso on the 95. Gets this thing turned back around in the right direction. Again, looking for some damage. Don't see any right now on that car. I think it might have only been him that was involved. Yeah, I don't really see any damage there. You hope for his sake this might have just been an innocent spin. Another driver getting loose. I see some smoke back here. This is a little bit of an odd look. Oh, wow. So he was... Oh, my goodness. He was already loose. All but when they first got into turn one. Is he going to get some help? Here's a question. Oh, he does. Johnny Mikulchuk, you see he's got the wheel turned really left, but it's just not hooking up. Got really tight all of a sudden out of nowhere, started sliding up. The contact between him and Jacob Musso. Musso tries to save it. It looks like he initially does, but can't quite hold on to it all the way. I think that was Cody Matthews that gives him a little tag too, but I don't think he's going to suffer any major damage, but certainly going to hurt his ego a little bit probably, as he's going to have to go all the way to the back after he was just starting to crawl his way back through the field, and he's probably not going to be too happy with Johnny Mikulchuk, but again, nothing of ill intent here, just two guys going at it. Johnny Mikulchuk sending it in just a little too deep. And sure enough, Cody Matthews that gives him a little tag in the bumper to bring us back under caution. Amazing that that causes a caution, but a car flipping through the grass doesn't. Funny the way iRacing works sometimes. Either way, Joshua Watson is still your current leader. Been a close battle all night, though, between him and Cody Richardson, and in fact, I haven't given enough credit to that battle. The biggest battle all night, which, you know, isn't always the case, has probably been for the leader, at least the positions within the top 5. Back in third, Jeff Marble, and his teammate in fourth, Tyler Marble, and Matthew Cox, who we talked about, got up to the top 5, is currently rounding out the top 5. So, you know, if you still got a tire set, I still don't think we're quite in that range where you should use it just yet. I think these guys still need to try to save it, save that tire set, if you will. I think if you're trying to set yourself up for a shot to win this thing, you know, the way the cautions have been playing out, I think once we hit 25 or less to go, maybe you start to think about sticking them on. If you want to get really risky with it, maybe you wait till under 15 to go, hoping that we get a caution, of course, under that time frame. But, you know, at the same time, on the flip side of that, if you come in a little bit earlier and you get those fresh tires, and then we have a string of cautions, guys who try to wait later to get it, they might have enough time to get all the way back to the front. You know, we've seen a little bit of 3 wide, but you certainly can't make up a ton of time, it doesn't seem like, on that third line. So if you're a guy on fresh tires, you're still going to have to kind of pick your way through the field carefully. But right now, Joshua Watson, Cody Richardson, they know they've both got a great shot at it. And Jeff Marble and Tyler Marble, 2 more drivers that also look like they have a great shot at it. We'll see what they can do here. Just behind them, Matthew Cox. We have seen this opportunity come up a couple times where a rookie, maybe not, well, actually, we did see this with a couple of the rookies early. In fact, Adrian Watson, another one that we had, Shane Parrish, I believe it was, who's no longer here, where these rookies that are coming in now, they're just lightning fast, just like what it looks like on the side of his car there. And they have a shot at getting a win in their debut race. Hasn't happened yet. But boy, you talk about a storyline to make this season, that would certainly be one. Some of the other storylines making headway would be when Sean Kaltenbach got the win at Kansas after being involved in a wreck early on in the race with Carl Dotson. And by a wreck, I don't mean an innocent spin. He slammed the outside wall, got heavy front end damage, side damage, and somehow pulled off what seemed like the impossible. Good finish for him. Another storyline, of course, was when Team Watson Racing had gotten all 3 of their drivers to victory lane before any other team, but now they've added a 4th, so you know, kind of neutralizes that out. They're going to have to work again to see if they can get Matthew Cox in victory lane before the end of the regular season. Next place we head here on Ghost Racing Network. At least me, I keep saying we. You know, Bryce, of course, the owner of Ghost Racing Network, he does, you know, the broadcast. We both do our own broadcast, kind of. I believe he has one tomorrow night. And then on Wednesday, we don't have anything scheduled, at least I don't. But on Thursday, I will be back for the PGR Intimidator Super Speedway Series. And I say this every week, but I really can't stress enough. If you are looking for what is probably overall the greatest, well, you know, I don't know what you want to call it. One of the best broadcasts that I probably have on, it's going to be that one because my co-host, Road to Pro driver Matthew Baker, joins me in the booth for that one. We have a heck of a time as we watch fields of over 40-plus trucks battling out for over $500 each week. And those guys are going at it. Always a fun time with them. Make sure you check it out. Back to business here at Gateway. Joshua Watson and Cody Richardson. The race is back on. Green flag in the air. Starting to close in on the end of this thing. We are going to be approaching 30 laps to go here. In about 6 laps. I think go time or desperation time starts to set in somewhere around 25, maybe 20 to go. Matthew Cox, he's going to take that position away from Tyler Marble. That's an important spot. He didn't go up though, man. That surprised me a little bit, but I think he likes where he's at right now. And he might try to pick off another position from Tyler's teammate here if he can get to Jeff's back bumper. And for a rookie too, he has shown a ton of patience tonight. Sometimes when you see a rookie out here, they'll get caught up in a couple mistakes, doing things that, you know, just that experience would take care of, or maybe getting too aggressive with another driver out of frustration. Not the case so far. Right here, Matthew Cox, he's not going to overdrive it. He's going to slowly try to work Tyler Marble over. He might not get it in the next couple laps, but if he continues to drive like that, he'll get that position eventually, and also he's going to continue to earn respect from these guys as they like to see anybody giving him room. And Dave Sanders still hanging at 12, looking to see if he can get inside the top 10. The 07, Thomas O'Hara, he's having a good run. 14th, up 2 from where he started. Races alongside Brian Conklin in 13th. Behind these guys, they're starting to all get single filed out. That's Scott Glasso. Sets his sight on Glenn Grigsby. Always one of the, well, if not the fan favorites, always one of the favorites up here at the broadcast booth here each and every race. One of the independent teams, and man, if this guy got a win, you would certainly know that the emotion from getting a win like that would be very impressive, knowing that you could lock yourself into the playoffs. But by all means, be a great feat for the 64 team to accomplish. Just behind them, a little racing here between Danny Gutierrez and Matthew Gearinger. I think Danny's going to be able to get this spot. He would probably like to get more here. And in fact, can he get to the outside of the 20 of Ryan Shiro? Looks like he does. Nope, the 20's going to get cleared. Dives back up in front of him. And right now, it looks like, yeah, I'm not sure what had happened to Cody Colley earlier. Didn't show any reports on what may have happened. He had been running pretty decent at one point, and he's been showing speed throughout the weeks, but you got to assume out an issue tonight. Cautions out. Ryan Shiro and Alan Pajari. And there's Alan Pajari. Sure what happened to some of these other guys. There's Ryan Shiro. Looks like he's making his way out of the grass. Going to spin it around. And, oh, he must have a toe broken as he cannot seem to get this thing spun around. He does. That left front is, oh, man, it's not even on the ground. And that looks like another victim of that concrete inside wall that's taking quite a few drivers here tonight. Ooh, so this starts a little bit before here. See what happens here. Oh, it looks like, yeah, Pajari's getting loose. He gets down into Ryan Shiro, and, you know, that's about the exact same crash that's caused every wreck tonight except for, I think, one, which happened over on the entry to turn 1. Just a driver getting loose, either on the outside or the inside, and they get into another driver. In this case, it was Ryan Shiro. Good here, good here. He's going to miss Brian Watson. Where's this big contact? Oh, bam! Ryan Haynes trying to sneak by, throttled up. And instead, he got a face full of Ryan Shiro's left front. And you knew it was bad right here when he's trying to do a burnout. And it is just not doing one. Youch. That was a pretty big hit. Let's take a couple more views of it here. And what? Alan Pajari, he's trying to get the momentum. He's trying to stay in the throttle here. Just slightly loose. And if the 20's not down there, it looks like he saves it. But the 20 was down there. And that's a big hit still for Ryan Haynes. Just absolutely nowhere he could go. Take one more shot of it here. There it is. In the middle of your screen. He's right on board, actually, with Ryan Haynes real quick to see what he saw through this one, and he probably didn't see that much. And I think he probably had to tow after this one, too. This is going to do... This might be the heaviest damage we've seen to 2 cars here tonight. You see, he sees it. Oh, and that's what it was there. You saw how the wheel was kind of locked to the left for Ryan Sherrill. So from the initial view, it looked like he was going to stay straight, so he throttled up to try to get by it. But then once those front tires catch, it puts the 20 right back down the track. Rest history. So up front, Joshua Watson, I think he's probably liking all these cautions. He's still leading the way, and it's still, for me personally, a little bit too early for that last set of tires, but I wouldn't be too surprised either if some guys decided to take them yet. We're going to see if we can take a look at it real quick here. And it looks like we still have, doesn't look like a lot of these guys have taken their last set yet. Looks like a couple guys may have, or guys that have had 2 sets, but the leaders overall did not go into the pits during this caution. I think they're going to stay out, but if we get another caution here in about 10 to 15 laps, and I think you have to come in and take them, at least if you're planning on using them. If not, if you think we're going to get a ton of cautions the rest of the way, maybe you stay out. And 6 caution, by the way, it started out clean, pretty green. Then we've kind of had a string of cautions here recently that's starting to extend out a little longer than I'm sure the admins would like. See if we can get this thing cleaned up a little bit better here by the end. We are going to take our second and final commercial break here tonight under yellow. We'll stay side by side, though, so you don't miss a thing. Be right back. Back live at Gateway. Restart is underway. Back green. Joshua Watson gets a huge jump this time over Cody Richardson. Jeff Marble with the assist gives him the push down into turn 1. Jeff Marble now in the highest spot that he started so far here tonight. Started in 30s up to second. And he could be looking to challenge for the lead here. We are now under 30 laps to go, coming to 25 in just a few. But Joshua Watson, Cody Richardson, and caution is off. Excuse me, sorry, that looked like caution had just flown. That was actually our system doing a quick update. And I was going to say, because these guys seem like they're still racing at speed, and Austin Fitzgerald's looking for a move to the inside of Andrew Kotska. Kind of faded away a little bit after being so fast early, and man, this restart, oh, we got a spin. This one's going to collect quite a few. They're all stacking up. Big wreck out of 2. They are still wrecking. This one collects a lot of guys. Well, it became a parking lot for a moment, and they are still wrecking. Glenn Grigsby's going to get turned around by Johnny McCulchuk. Oh, and they almost wreck again. Jerry Isaacs has to avoid Glenn Grigsby coming back down. 7th caution of the night. This starts pretty far up the field. And I couldn't tell. I believe did it start with Cody Richardson or did it start further back than that? It was, oh. And just as I may have been noting, rookies not making mistakes. Looks like we might see one here. That's 2 rookies, actually. Adrian Watts, Matthew Cox, and looks like I couldn't tell if the 03 had been getting loose from that point or if it was just different braking zones. And if it was just different braking zones, then that's a tough break. Yeah, it looks like the 03 is okay here. Maybe it might be getting a little loose, but I think the one just gets into the back of him. Again, nothing intentional, but gets into the back of him again. And at this point, you're just not going to be able to save it, and they're going to start piling in from there. Looks like the 51-74 spin. Dave Sanders, and then wrecks on from there. Look at this. I mean, this becomes an absolute parking lot. Let's take a couple more views of it here. In fact, let's go to Dave Sanders because he was in quite a bit of this mess. So there you're going to see the initial spin, and everybody's just got nowhere to go. Certain guys scrambling for position. The 6 is in it, Jared Bundy. There's the 02 of Richard Elliott. Cody Matthews. There's Johnny McCulchuk, and they're still not done wrecking. Watch this. The 64 is going to come up, and McCulchuk's going to spin him around. Don't think anybody got any major damage from it, but definitely a pretty big wreck nonetheless. And this had to look a little interesting from some of these onboards. So let's take a view from Dave Sanders to see what he saw. Oh man, I'll tell you what, he almost actually, the seas almost parted for him there. He almost got through it, unfortunately. Just kind of closed up there at the end. But again, I don't think the damage was too bad as long as he didn't break any of those toe links. If you break your suspension on these next gens, Unite's all but over, but it looks like the steering wheel's pretty straight. Don't hear anything clunking around. I think he'll be all right. Most of these guys will, but of course a lot of them are in the pits right now fixing some of that damage. And we do have some strategy play here. It looks like Joshua Watson came in for tires. So did some of the other leaders on the flip side of that. Cody Richardson stays out. Jared Bundy, Scott Glasso, Danny Gutierrez, Andrew Kotska, Jeff Shutt. He is now inside the top 10 because of that. In fact, let's read that running order over for anybody that kind of missed it. First place is Cody Richardson, Jared Bundy 2nd, Scott Glasso 3rd, Danny Gutierrez 4th, Andrew Kotska 5th, Jeff Shutt 6th, Bill Benedict 7th, Sean Kaltenbach 8th, Johnny McCulchuk 9th, and Brian Curry. He's been struggling tonight, but he is now inside the top 10. We'll see if he can hang on to it. Glenn Grigsby, what a season run this would be for him if he could get up here to the top 10 and finish off there. But a lot of these guys just behind Glenn here, such as Joshua Watson, Tyler Marble, Matthew Cox, Jeff Marble, Austin Fitzgerald, these were all the leaders, and they have all taken their last set of tires now. And it is going to be a fun restart to watch as they all try to work their way back to the field with probably 22 to go. And let's see, you know what? We always like to talk about strategy. Let's talk to the man that's probably going to be, I don't know if I want to say mastermind behind the strategy. You know what? Let's give a call to Jeff Marble here. Hey Jeff, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey Austin, how are you?
Good, man. Well, it looks like you're going to be one of those guys that's on new tires. Now we're seeing a lot of cautions here late. Do you think you'll have enough time to get back up there?
No, when we came down pit road and we seen who stayed out, the amount of people that stayed out, we were driving down pit road, we're like, that might have been the wrong decision, but you gotta do what the leader does, and we made our bed, we'll have to lay in it, so.
Well, either way, it's been a great night so far, you know, up to this point, at least for Team Marble iRacing. You and your teammate have been almost dead even. Do you think maybe you can somehow use some teamwork to get to the front?
Nah, two different driving styles. He drives one way, I drive the other, and it's just going through all this traffic is gonna be way too hard to team up on anybody. Really, it's a free for all.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for talking to us again. We're gonna be watching though here with you on the new tires. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, sir.
And asked Jeff I asked him a pretty stupid question there for that second question, but my mind kind of had drew a blank for a second, so I had to improvise. Of course, Gateway not really a track that teammates can necessarily do too much in the terms of helping you get to the front, but I mean, hey, if they're both fast, maybe they somehow follow each other up to the lead. I don't know. We'll have to find out. Green flags in the air, 22 laps to go at Gateway. Good jump for Cody Richardson, and I think right now what he wants to see is all those guys on fresh tires get trapped, get held up. As long as they can, keep an eye on that bright blue 01 of Joshua Watson, the JBR E-Racing driver. He's going to have to make some desperate moves in some pretty quick time. There he goes, 3 wide down to the bottom. Going to take Bill Benedict 3 wide. Ooh, the 90. There was almost some contact there. This is going to have to sort itself out before 3. Ooh, man, the 01 really had to get on the brakes, but you see the fresh Goodyears working for him. He gets past without issue. I thought for sure he was going to lose the nose and shoot up. Oh, there's some contact. Oh, there's going to wreck out back. Tyler Marble saves it. Can they all save it? No, Richard Elliott gets into him. They're still trying to save it. And it looks like they do, but Tyler Marble has damage. Oh, man. And that is really going to hurt the 48. Actually, that's probably going to end his chances tonight of even a top 10. Joshua Watson on the mean side of that, he continues to try to work his way towards the front. He now has to contend with a side-by-side Jared Bundy and Scott Glatzo. He's going to stay patient here, at least for the moment, before he'll try to dive down on the front straightaway. All this while Cody Richardson continues to try to pull away. 20 laps to go. And you know what? How about Danny Gutierrez for JBR E-Racing as well? Was the first caution of the night. Went a lap down, got the lap back, hasn't stopped fighting, and this is why you don't stop fighting, because now he is back up here into second, and you never know, he might have a shot at winning this thing here. Looking back a little bit, the 6 of Jared Bundy, he is still trying to hang on to a top 10. It's looking like it's going to be a tough task. Go, Bill Benedict, going to attack the outside wall in the middle of 3 and 4. Unlike the restarts we've seen previously, this one is a lot more of these guys staying double file for more than just the first couple laps. Jeff Marble's continuing to try to work his way through the field. There's a look at Matthew Cox. And even though Tyler Marble's got the damage, those fresh tires are still helping him out a little bit as he tries to somewhat claw his way back into at least a top 15 if he can before this thing's all said and done. Joshua Watson, boy, it did not take him long. Only about 4 laps, it looks like. And just like that, he is back up here to the front, and he's not even have to worry about trying to move these guys out of the way. Jumps right to the outside, and if you're Cody Richardson, there's nothing you can do. Danny Gutierrez is going to try to work the box, the 0-1 in here a little bit. And it looks like Joshua Watson's going to go ahead and dive right back out to the outside here. Oh, he almost gets up into the wall. Ran a little too high. Jeff Shutt's going to try to sneak to the bottom. Almost some contact. Now the 0-1 gets into the wall. Jeff Shutt does move up to third momentarily. Is he looking 3 wide again on the 0-1? No, he can't get back to there. Danny Gutierrez to the inside of the 27. Just as we talked about how good Jeff Shutt has been doing earlier, he's doing it again so far here tonight. Making Capital Auto Group proud with the paint scheme and the finishes that he started to put together. And the battle for the lead, the battle for probably the win right here as we are coming to 16 laps to go next time. Joshua Watson's continuing to try to get it on the outside. I think he's going to have the momentum here down the backstretch. Cody Richardson's certainly not going to hand it over, though, by any means. Able to stay side by side, even for a set of corners. That's impressive when you think about the tire difference on these two cars. But down into 3 and 4 where the outside's going to roll a lot faster. He's just not going to be able to hang on any longer. The 0-1 of Joshua Watson goes by, but watch for Jeff Shutt here in third. The 27 is also looking to get by here. He's got to get around soon. And if he can do so, he could yet top himself again for a season best finish and potentially also go for a shot at the win. Jeff Marble, he's come back into play here in the 15. Alloy wheel repair specialist Mustang, he gets to the inside of Danny Gutierrez. And does he think about going to the inside? I know he's going to have to save it for another set of corners. Brian Curry is now looking to get inside the top 5. Meanwhile, out back, there's still a lot of racing going on. Looks like Austin Fitzgerald may have gotten a little damage to the front nose of that 74 machine. In fact, see if we can take a look at it. Sure enough. Not sure where he got that from. You got to assume it was a stack-up of some sorts. After that, a little bit of single file action before we're going to go back to double file here. Brian Conklin is leading the battle for 15th. Johnny McCulchuk fading back a little bit on the outside before you're going to find Glenn Grigsby. Tyler Marble still struggling. He's in 18th, but that is all because of that damage. Had a fast car all night, and he is probably not the happiest fellow right now, but not much he can do. And, you know, Richard Elliott was probably one of the few guys that we didn't mention at all until we saw him in a caution tonight. He's up 8 from where he started, so it is a positive gain for him tonight, currently sitting just inside the top 20 and 19th position. But now that Joshua Watson has got the lead, he is, man, already put over a second gap on second place. Now, Jeff Marble did just recently get work his way around Jeff Shutt. So we will see here. You know, Jeff Marble is hungry to get that first win. Oh, he's got damage on the front as well. I did not notice that. But that looks like similar, if not maybe a little worse than what we saw on Austin Fitzgerald's car. That's pretty bad. The nose on that thing is dented in quite a bit. And you got to wonder if that's going to be all that it's going to take to hinder him from a shot at winning this thing. Still giving it what he's got. Just don't think it's going to be enough. How about a little crank it up with 13 to go from Gateway? Here we go. Hold that thought. Caution is out. Oh, we got one spun around on the back. That's Jacob Musso. And I almost thought I saw another spin behind him. It may have been from his spin. This time it looks like it's not so much of an innocent spin as he is going to get some damage on the right side. Hey, sponsor shout out right on the hood. Fast Eddie's Hot Rods. Check it out, but unfortunately, not the way he wanted that scheme to be shown here tonight. Let's take a look, and you know, I think right now if you're Joshua Watson, those guys, well, mainly Joshua Watson, you have got to be saying, are you kidding me? Probably felt like you had this thing locked up, and now it's going to be interesting. And ooh, looks like, yikes, looks like Matthew Cox just kind of gets into his right rear there. It's a little bumpy down the straightaway. Not sure if that's what it was or just wasn't sure what, but yeah, either way, turns that 95 into the outside wall. Nothing that Jacob could do here. Looks like everybody else is able to avoid him. That's the good news. The bad news is, again, Jacob Musso with another tough break, and this time, like we said, he's got damage from it. Let's take a couple more shots at that. Watch the 01. In fact, let's back this up. The 1, rather, excuse me. Yeah, it's just, yeah, from that view, it looks a little different. I'll tell you what, watch where these two start and watch where they both end. So you're going to come off the corner here. You see that seam. Jacob Musso's moving up here. Now the 1's moving up, or down rather, excuse me. No, I think that one's got to be more on the 1 car after second look. Initially, it looked like the 95 had also been maybe starting to come up, but they kind of straightened out. They were both going kind of straight, and the 1 just kept coming down, and just hooks the 95 right into the outside wall. Nowhere to go. So all those guys that we saw get past there, Cody Richardson, you know they're all coming in to take their last set because, I mean, you can't leave this race empty-handed or with tires left. You got to leave it empty-handed, rather. But the question is, how many positions are they going to have to make up? And, oh, it's looking like a lot because, of course, we had more pit stops on that first go than we did on this one. If we go green all the way from here, I'm not going to say it's impossible because we saw Joshua Watson make up maybe half to 3/4 of that many positions in only about 4 to 5 laps. So I think it's doable here, but man, they're going to need everything to go just about perfect if you're Cody Richardson. Meanwhile, up front, if you're Joshua Watson, if you can get a clean restart here and maybe put a little gap, it doesn't matter how fast the new tires are. If they can't get through the traffic, they're going to run out of time. So Joshua Watson is leading the way. It's going to be Jeff Marble in second. Jeff Shutt third, Sean Kaltenbach fourth, Danny Gutierrez in fifth, Austin Fitzgerald sixth, Matthew Cox seventh, up 24 from where he started. A couple of incidents though, and I hope I didn't give him the announcer's jinx, but 2 of the last cautions have been via contact from the 1 that kind of sparked it. Bill Benedict in the 90 currently sits in 8th, up 13 from where he started. Jared Bundy 9th. Brian Conklin running at the top 10. And we're going to keep going because we're going to have some of your new tire guys. The further back we go, there's Tyler Marble, who got the damage in the last track. He's 11th. We'll see if he can hold on. Richard Elliott 12th. Johnny McCulchuk 13th. Jerry Isaacs 14th. Glenn Grigsby in 15th. Jeff Barnes 16th. Cody Matthews 17th. 18th is going to be Jacob Musso. And then I think the start of your new tires is going to be here with Brian Curry, the 28 car, in 19th. Cody Richardson 20th. He's also new tires. And then everybody else back here might be a mix of new and old tires. We're going to find out as we do have the 1 to go signal. That's going to make us go green here with 8 laps to go. Going to be wild. If you have your picks, get them in now. Who do you think is going to win this thing? If you had to have me pick, I just don't think I could pick one right now. I'm more curious on if we can finish this thing off green. That last restart was very aggressive. That's what you get when you mix new and old tires. And Jeff Marble here, does he have another shot at it? I'm still wondering if that damage is going to affect him from having a shot. But this time he doesn't have to worry about trying to close up any gap. He's going to be side by side. If he can get a good restart, you never know what goes on down here in 1 and 2. Maybe he gives himself a shot at winning this race. And Jeff Shutt in row 2, keep an eye on him as well. He might have a shot at it. Danny Gutierrez could have the comeback here. One of the best comebacks of the season, but unfortunately he's on old tires. Just don't think he'll have quite enough grip to get by some of these leaders. Either way, it's been a long day of racing so far, and it's going to all come down to this. The track temp's still hot and slick at 160 degrees Fahrenheit. These guys getting ready to go at it, hopefully for the final time. 8 laps to go here at Gateway. Who is going to win? Jeff Marble got a really good restart. He was able to hang with the 01 on the outside. Can he make it work through 1 and 2? He sends it down really, really hard. Can he make it stick? Not quite. The 01 gets clear off of turn 2. Jeff Marble has to jump in the draft. Oh, they're wrecking big out back. Big wreck out back. This is going to draw the caution for sure, and it does. Multiple cars involved. I saw one get up in the air. I believe it might have been Scott Glasso in the 4. Sure enough, he's got heavy front end damage. We got one rolling around backwards. That's Thomas O'Hara. And then 2 more stuck in the grass. Oh, Cody Richardson. Looking like a good night gone bad as part of getting trapped by not taking your tires earlier. And that's what you risk by running that strategy. But what can you do? Let's take a look at what happens here. This is now going to put us in a restart with under 5 to go. Been very caution-filled here late in the going. This is just a product here. If you mix all these different tires, you got guys really going for it. So Cody must have gotten a really good restart. He gets to the outside here, and it looks like Brian Curry, not sure if he had an issue there, or just kind of blows the corner a little bit. Not by much, but enough to where he had a Cody Richardson on his outside, and kind of odd the way some of those cars shot. I'm not sure if it was really a bit of an odd look, but once they get together once, they kind of save it, and then the 28 gets back up into the 46, and the wreck's going to start from there. There's the 4 who got up into the outside wall and then pinned up in the air by the 07 of O'Hara, who had nowhere to go. I'm going to ride on board here with Brian Curry for that one in just a minute. Let's take a couple more looks at this. That's just a tough break. Take a ride on board here with Brian Curry. On the onboard cam, you know, I was kind of noting here about, you saw right in front of him, the 95 almost had the same look, and it's almost like the car kind of jerked. Like, I'm not sure if he had some wheel hop or what. It was really odd looking. Let's see if we can listen. Oh, it looks like he just got in there way too hot. Yeah, there's the 95. See, the 95 had the same issue. He might have been getting loose and just tried to correct it. And then from there, the wreck was on. Nothing anybody could do. Thomas O'Hara had a pretty wild ride through this all, as well as he pinned the 04 of Scott Glasso up in the air. Let's take a ride on board with him. And he misses the initial wreck. Does a heck of a job. And then right there just had absolutely nowhere to go. That might end his night with pretty heavy damage. It looks like the hood might be flapping around a little bit. Up front, Joshua Watson is still leading the way here with 5 laps to go. Jeff Marble in second, Sean Kaltenbach third, Austin Fitzgerald fourth, Jeff Shutt fifth, Danny Gutierrez sixth, Bill Benedict seventh, Matthew Cox 8, Brian Conklin 9th, Jared Bundy rounding out your top 10. And I was looking back here to see if any of the guys on new tires survived, but the ones that didn't really gain but maybe a position or two, and that caution definitely did not help their causes. They're not really going to get a chance to put those Goodyear tires to good use. So if you're Joshua Watson at this point, your biggest threat is going to be Jeff Marble, maybe Sean Kaltenbach and Austin Fitzgerald as well, but you don't have to worry about the new tires anymore at this point. This is all going to be if we can finish this thing on this restart. Can you hold off the guys behind you? Maybe the 2 guys behind you. And on Jeff Marble's case, or in his case rather, what is he thinking here? You know, he almost made it stick, but he just couldn't quite hold it off the turn. So, and it seemed like the 01 of Joshua Watson did run him up pretty high as well. So if you're Jeff here, do you maybe try to bait the 01 to run you up high here and then try to dive under it, assuming you both get clear? Or do you maybe try to run him harder and then pinch him down? How do you go about it? It's just part of that chess match that these guys are all panning out and thinking about right here. It looks like Sean Kaltbach does have some right front damage. So if he could come up with the top 5, that would certainly be a good finish, as he would be the highest finishing Team Watson Racing driver at this point. Andrew Nato did retire from the race earlier after an incident where he did flip quite a few times through the grass on the backstretch. 9 cautions here tonight. Definitely one of the races that we've had more than the average, that's for sure, for here tonight. The FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series does pride themselves on green flag racing. And, you know, at the end of the day, Gateway's a really tough track. You know, they talked about it in real life all week, and it's the same way here in iRacing. The cars just aren't really meant for it. The Cup cars, that is, it's just both turns are so different from each other. You really can't set it up to match. Obviously, both sides of the track don't match, so you can't set it up one way. You got to just try to find the best of both worlds, and that makes it a tough track to win at. And that would make victory all the more sweet here for Joshua Watson, as he could tack on yet another win to his season. And got to think they're running out of room for stickers on the side of that 01 machine. Soon they're going to have the whole car filled up. But Jeff Marble still with a chance to get his first win of the season. He can feel it within hand's reach. Can he somehow find a way? 3 laps to go at Gateway. Green flag back in the air. Another good restart from Jeff Marble. What does he try to do this time? He can't try to go to the inside. Does he try to make it work on the outside? He's going to get down. Oh, this time he's going to try something different. Looks like he does get the arc. He's going to send it back down. He did try it. Looks like he couldn't quite make it work. Joshua Watson's going to pull away. Oh, they're wrecking out back again. Did they save it? I saw one go off. I guess they saved it. Heck of a save from whoever that was then. So far, all right, everybody's going to keep it together. We're going to be coming to 2 to go. If we can make it to the white flag, this thing will be official. Jeff Marble's trying everything he's got to track him down. It's not looking like it's going to be enough right now behind these guys. The racing is still pretty intense. 3 wide down into turn 1. Is this going to work? It does, as Richard Elliott bails out. Good move from Andrew Kotska. Behind them, 2x2, Cody Richardson still looking to make something happen on these older tires. Going back up front, that's where we're going to keep it for the rest of the way. The gap is at 2/10. He's getting a little draft off the straightaways, and you can see he's moving his line around trying to find anything, but it's not going to be enough here unless something happens or the 01 slips up. Works the high lane, gets that momentum and draft down the front stretch, but white flag is in the air. One more lap for the 01. Can he win it at the arch? Jeff Marble really sent it in that time, and it looked like it sticked pretty good, at least on entry. This is the closest he's going to get right here. He's got one more shot down here in 3 and 4. What does he do? Does he try the outside? I don't think he's close enough for a bump and run. Final time through 3 and 4. The 15 doesn't have enough. He is going to add another win onto his season. Dominant so far. JBR E-Racing is going to win at Gateway. It's going to be Joshua Watson in the 01. Good finish. Good race overall for the 01. He was certainly pretty dominant, at least towards the late stages. And the short run car definitely prevailed tonight, as we just didn't have many long runs. Jeff Marble brings home 2nd. Sean Kaltbach 3rd, Austin Fitzgerald 4th. And Matthew Cox, the rookie, brings home a top 5 as he gives a little victory tap there to the 01. Lets him know, hey man, congratulations, you earned it. Joshua Watson going to bring it around and do a little burnout here for everybody watching at home. And as he does that, we're going to let him do his burnout. We're going to go seek your top 3 here for interviews. We'll be back. All right, back live at World Wide Technology Raceway for the Gateway 150. We got your top three, and we're going to start with third place finisher Sean Kaltenbach. Sean, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, overall, we saw Team Watson Racing kind of have their ups and downs, but it's going to end in a positive for you getting on the podium. Man, tell us about your night and the roller coaster that went on.
It was just survival tonight. It was a lot of way more take than give tonight, so it made it was a rough night for us. The car wasn't bad. I mean, it was a little off at the beginning of the race. Made some adjustments there. Andy made an adjustment on his car. It was really working, so I did the same thing to mine, and it really helped bring it to life. Fortunately, Andy ended up getting turned, and want to thank him for that adjustment because that made a huge difference.
All right, well, hey, good finish here in third. Now, I know Gateway's a tricky track, but next week we head into a road course. Do you think that kind of different sort of track that we ran here tonight helps you at all for the road course next week?
I wish I could say it does, but I struggle at road courses. If I could get a 10th, I'll be happy. But most of the time, I struggle with the road courses. But the only one I could say I really liked is Watkins Glen. I struggle with the other ones. I wish I fared better. But there's definitely some good road course ringers in this league.
Well, you already got a win on the season, and you're going to tack on another great finish tonight in third. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
I had the family and other watching us on YouTube. So I figured to say, hey, like I said, I'm sorry wish Andy and Brian could have been up here. I guess it was kind of the same last week. Those guys were finished up front and I wrecked. So kind of been feast or famine for us.
Well, congratulations once more on the third place finish, and thanks for talking to us.
All right, man. Have a good night.
You too. All right, that's Sean Kaltenbach, your third place finisher. And now we're going to bring up your second place finisher, Jeff Marble. Jeff, this is all set up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How are you, Austin?
Good. Well, hey, man, you rallied to bring home second. The first thing I want to ask you about is we saw some damage on the front end of your car. First of all, where'd you get that from? And do you think without it, you may have had enough to beat the 01 and get your first win of the season?
Yeah, it definitely hurt the front end downforce there. There was a big accordion effect checkup. Probably the second to last restart. Oh, it was the restart after we came down for tires and you interviewed me. It was that restart. And somebody checked up somewhere, and there was like 5 of us that all got sandwiched in there with peanut butter and jelly. So, yeah, it hurt the front end. You know what? I'm not sure if I would have had anything for him. But I did try to get him on every single restart, and I did think about squeezing him down into that low lane, that slippery low lane down there in turn 1. But I also didn't want to turn myself by trying to squeeze him down there. So I figured, well, if I get a good launch on the restart and try to beat him into the corner, we'll see how it goes. But it just won't turn in that second lane.
We know you're one of the kings here of long runs in general. Do you think if we would have had a long green flag run there at the end, you might have had a better shot at going for the win tonight?
Well, let's rewind it to the beginning of the race. I was ultra conservative. Just because some of the races I've been in this week, either caution free or just minimal yellows. So I was ultra conservative right from the initial lap 1. And I'm like, I'll just let guys pass me. I don't give a crap. They can pass me and I'll just sit here and do my thing. Well, once that was thrown out the window by the second caution, that's when I just started being more aggressive and using up my stuff. But yeah, I would have liked to seen a long run because that's how I roll. But what are you going to do?
Well, overall, the aggression pays off tonight, bringing home that second place finish. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out tonight?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to the Capital Auto Group from last week's race, part of our No Ball Money series. I forgot to give a shout out to them while we were sitting on the grid. Of course, Alloy Wheel Repair Specialists out of Richmond, Virginia. iRacingIFlag.com, they sponsor our truck series. We got Butt Kicker, they've come on board. If you guys, they're giving away 1 free butt kicker to a driver that attends every single race this year, so I appreciate them very much. And my teammates, and of course Brian Conklin, Tyler Marble, Andy Tico, and all the fellas. If I forgot somebody, I apologize. But yeah, that's about. Oh, of course, Ghost Racing Network for putting on this great broadcast for us. And too bad we couldn't put on a better show for you, but we do the best we can.
Hey, ups and downs, that's part of the season. Tonight may have been a little bit off what we're used to seeing, but that is sometimes just part of what we see here at a track like Gateway. All right, once again, congratulations on the second place finish, and we will see you at the road course next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, now we're going to pull up tonight's winner. He tacks on yet another win. Joshua Watson, you got a copy?
Yes, I do, bud.
Well, man, early on, it looked like maybe you were struggling a little bit, but I would say maybe even a little bit before the halfway mark, and especially after the halfway mark, you were just about lights out. How'd you get it done there?
We were definitely struggling a little bit at the beginning. Car was a little loose to start with, and we were trying to manage it. We had a feeling it was going to start loose, and just wanted to get to the first stop and make a couple adjustments, which we were able to. And once we put the adjustments in the car, it really just kind of took off. I was able to really get back to the throttle sooner than most, I felt like, and just roll the corners, roll through the center. Felt like a lot of my speed I was gaining rolling through the center after that adjustment on a lot of guys, so that really helped, being able to roll through there and throttle up a little bit better without really breaking the rear tires loose on exit.
And I want to ask you about that, I guess not strategy, but the decision to go in for tires later in the race. We kind of saw two splits with it. A bigger group came in and took the tires earlier, and then on the next caution, the second group came. What made you decide to go in when you did, and did you have to think twice about it, or were you pretty sure that was the winning strategy?
Oh, we were debating it from the minute the caution come out on what to do. Kind of, as the leader, you're kind of at a disadvantage there in a way, because it's one of those things, if you pit, they stay out. If you stay out, they pit. But I felt like if we were going to have any advantage or any hope, we were going to have to pit. I'd rather pit and be on fresher tires and kind of do what we did versus be on older tires. We seen a couple guys who stayed out just fell super quick, and they were on, I think, 30, 40 lap old tires at that point. Once we got a few laps in and got down to the end, and I think we only had like 10 to go, and fresh tires were back in like 20th. I felt like we had a really good shot. Not saying it's impossible to come from that if it would have went green, but it would have been definitely a lot harder versus where we restarted in 12th. So did I think it was a winning strategy? No, we were just kind of hoping and praying that things were going to fall our way, and they did.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, you have won on just about everything except a road course, which we head to next week, so we'll have to see just how good you are there. But before we let you go tonight, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Everybody on JBRE Racing, from Richard to Adrian to my brother Brian to Danny, all my family and friends, my girlfriend, my kids, Ryko for the setups that they put out week in and week out. This year has just been phenomenal. These sets have been on rails. Moultrie, Mayer Brothers, Palomir, Hoyt, Fanatec, and everybody that makes this happen. Can't be happier with the Fanatec wheel and everything, and DSD button boxes. So I think that's everybody. Oh, you, Alloy, wheel repair specialist, Jeff and Tyler for putting on the league, and like I said, you guys for broadcasting. Always doing an amazing job.
All right, well, thanks for talking to us. Congrats on another win, and we will also see you next week at the road course.
Thank you.
Joshua Watson, your winner tonight. Bringing it home second was Jeff Marble. Tyler Marble, unfortunately, on the other side. Not the best finish after contact early. We'll get to him later in the results. Sean Kaltenbach, third. It's going to be Austin Fitzgerald, and fourth. He makes a pretty good comeback towards the end. Matthew Coxon, fifth. Jeff Shutt, sixth. Danny Gutierrez, seventh. Bill Benedict, eighth. Jerry Isaacs, ninth. Andrew Kotska rounding out the top 10. Jared Bundy, 11th. It's going to be Brian Conklin in 12th. 13th, Dave Sanders. Tyler Marble, 14th. Jeff Barnes in 15th. Richard Elliott, 16th. Johnny McCulchuk in 17th. 18th is going to be Cody Matthews. Cody Richardson in 19th. Thomas O'Hara in 20th. Ryan Haynes, 21st. Scott Glasso, 22nd. Jacob Musso, 23rd. Glenn Grigsby, 24th. Todd Shiro, 25th. Brian Watson, 26th. Brian Curry, 27th. Ryan Shiro, 28th. Adrian Watts, 29th. Matthew Geringer, 30th. Alan Bajari, 31st. Andrew Nieder, 32nd. Cody Colley, 33rd. And Jeffrey Souza running out the field tonight in 34th position. Well, I hope everybody did enjoy. Again, A little bit of a different one here tonight at Gateway. We started out pretty green, had a lot of cautions there towards the end, but nonetheless, racing never seems to disappoint as Joshua Watson gets another win. Congratulations from us here at Ghost Racing Network. We will see everybody next Monday at Sonoma for the first road course race of the season. Don't miss out. I hope everyone enjoyed one more time, and until next